Trash. That's trash. Hold on. All right. So, all right.
So we're not even going to talk about cards this time, right? Just keep it short.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Welcome to Magic and Chill Podcast. Magic and Chill Podcast. This is
All right. Welcome, fellow Planeswalkers, to the very first episode of the Magic and Chill Podcast. I'm Charlie, and joining me today is our co-host, Mark from Sorcerer's Stash.
Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm excited to be here today, and in this first episode of Magic and Chill Podcast.
Nice, man. Nice to have you here.
Thanks.
In this episode, we'll dive into some exciting topics related to Magic the Gathering Commander. But first, let's briefly outline what's in store for you.
So that's right. So basically, we'll be discussing deck building strategies, exploring some Commander community, and talking about some cool Commander cards and notable cards and strategies.
But before we get into that, let's introduce ourselves and share our Commander backgrounds with our listeners.
So I'm Mark, Sorcerer's Stash. That's where you can find me on social media. But yeah, so just a quick brief introduction of myself. I've been playing Magic since maybe like Ice Age, 96, 97. And yeah, it's a long time. I'm pretty old.
You don't look that old.
Yeah, I try not to. I always tell people it's like I'm like a time traveler, but I'm not. But basically, yeah, so got into Magic, been playing Magic since Ice Age, and got fell out of it, and then I got back into Magic around like Scars of Mirrodin Block, and then kind of played that round. Then I found about EDH, and then got into EDH, and then I think my first commander was Isamura Houndaconda, which is a mono white deck, and I just built it around like pretty much Voltron style auras and weapons and equipment and stuff like that. And then I fell out, and then I got back into EDH or Commander when the decks came out, which is Mimoplasm, and then my little brother played some, I think that demon trick that summons angels and demons or whatever when they attack. I forget the name right now, but then fell out of it and then got back into it during Throne of Eldraine. And then kind of stuck with it ever since. So yeah, that's kind of my background with MTG, I guess.
Yeah, mine's pretty similar. I started playing around the Mirrodin Besieged block. And I think that's like the set where, I think poison counters were introduced way earlier, but I think that's where they kind of leaned heavily into poison counters. So that's when I kind of started playing. I stopped playing for a short while once I went to college, and then I was like in between classes one day, and then I noticed it like on the bottom. So there's like this food hall, and like I used to go study at the bottom of this food hall, and all of a sudden I saw that there's like this whole just lower floor, maybe like 60 dudes all playing Magic. And so I was like, oh, bitchin'. And so then I started playing again in college, and then stopped playing again. And then I would just come back into it. Like wherever I was, someone around me would pull me back into the game. And as luck would have it, I met somebody that played Magic, and then now I'm in like a new play group. So been playing it off and on. My first deck was also the Mimoplasm from that first commander set that they started producing. And yeah, and then now try to jam out as many games as possible, man.
Same with me. I try to jam out some games with my local play group, and get into some games at the LGSs. So yeah, cool, man.
Yeah, I'll probably edit that. Be a lot shorter. All right, so let's kick things off with our first topic, deck building strategies in Commander. Now, Commander deck building can be quite different from other formats.
Absolutely. So like one of the key decisions you'll make in choosing your commander is that choice can dramatically shape your deck.
Yeah, definitely. So your commander isn't just a card, it's the heart of your deck and determines the colors you can use, obviously. It often suggests a theme or strategy.
And speaking of strategy, commander decks can vary from control focus to aggro to even like combo oriented decks. Each approach has its strengths and weaknesses.
Right, exactly. And so probably later on in the podcast, we'll talk about, or at least in future episodes, we'll talk about things like zero rule, right? Power level, stuff like that. We'll also talk about how to balance your deck's power when you're playing with, your friends or in your pod. So obviously you wouldn't want to play deck with extremely fast mana, extremely powerful spells with against your buddy who's playing it pre-con.
Cool. So moving on to our another topic, pretty much in this podcast, we'll talk about Commander community. Magic the Gathering Commander has a very large and vibrant and welcoming community.
Yeah, absolutely. So whether into local play groups, gaming stores, or online platforms, there's so many ways to engage with the fellow Commander players.
And let's not forget about Commander focused events that you'll have at your local LGSs, which would include Commander Nights, free lace parties. Those all can be a cool thing to go meet new players and just have a blast jamming out games.
Totally, yeah. And we've had some memorable experiences ourselves. It's amazing how Commander brings people together.
Definitely. We'll also share some tips on how to build your Commander play group, how to kind of engage other people. Most of the time when I'm at LGSs, I just, it's always cool just to say, hey, you want to play a game? And, meet new people, talk about your whole Magic experience, who you are, and stuff like that. And that's kind of a cool thing to get to know new people in this community.
I will say, however, that I'm still fairly new to not new to Magic, but I feel like I'm very new to the Commander community. Our social pages are fairly new. I think I've been on TikTok for about a year, and YouTube I kind of just started posting too. So still very much so looking to grow in the MTG community myself.
Exactly. Same with me. I'm fairly new, trying to kind of be a content creator. I've been playing Magic for a while, but trying to get into the whole community. I don't know. A little Novak, me and Charlie have been friends for over, I don't know, let's say like 10, 20 years probably. So we've been knowing each other, and
So I do have a story. I guess this would be a pub stomping story, but our other friends, Jake and I, used to play at his place. We'd play one-on-one, and I guess we'll get into it later, but Commander's meant to be played with 4 people, so it's not really a one-on-one format. However, Jake and I would play one-on-one every turn. We'd both play mono black decks. It was like super vicious, just aggro versus aggro, like hardly any synergies. Just we would get out the biggest, baddest, and just play the nastiest spells. So we would go pub stomping when we get tired of stomping ourselves, and we would blindly just go into a local LGS, start up a game, hardly speak a word to any of the dudes in there, and then we would both just destroy these unsuspecting folks. And I remember one game, I took the guy's Avacyn with like a Lazov Mastermind deck, and the dude just scooped up his cards after that happened, and he left, and I never saw the guy ever again.
I think I remember our buddy Jake talking about that a lot. That's like one of the traditional stories he's been talking about. Also, I think he talked about your 1v1 games. It'd be whoever can play hatred first. That's probably one of, yeah, that's like the one card we'd play. I can remember just speaking about our buddy Jake, who plays, he's like a Magic lore enthusiast. I remember playing some 60 card standard with him back in like 2015, and I think I would play. That was when like Jason the Mind Sculptor was big, Callblade, and I would play. I just like destroy him with like Callblade, which was like a blue-white Azorius deck kind of, and you just like kind of you Stoneforge Mystic and then try to pump out with those like birds and just like attach equipment with them and just destroy them. But yeah. I remember those
birds were holding like all those equipment.
Those you cast a bird and then you can search for all of them through your deck and you put them in your hand. The deck was pretty crazy. I didn't have Jason Mind Sculptor, but I did.
It was like $100, or it was like $80 back then, probably.
Dude, Jace was insanely overpriced. I think he was banned. I think
he was like $100 though.
Yeah, he was pretty expensive. So I didn't have him, but I used Stoneforge Mystic and all the birds, and then I just equipped like that all this equipment in there. Yeah.
I just looked up Hatred on Scryfall. It cost 3 colorless, 2 black, KX life. Target creature gets +X until the end of turn. It's like not really that. I mean, it's instant speed, so it's not the worst card. So we would just play that card. Dude, it was $2 when we bought. I remember going and buying the card. It was $2. It's $31 now.
Yeah. Actually, short story, probably divert from what we're talking about, but I recently went to MagicCon Vegas, and in one of the games I played, this guy was playing some Rakdos deck, and he actually played Hatred against another opponent. So that's what made me think about that card more and more, because it's a pretty popular card right now.
Yeah, right on. And so that leads us into our third topic, notable commander cards and strategies. Now, I think in future episodes, this is going to be the bulk of the podcast. We might switch it up from time to time, maybe talk about some salty cards or anything that's going on in the news world or anything new that's going on in Magic the Gathering. I think for this very first episode, we'll
highlight some all-time Commander classics and discuss how they can make a difference in your game.
Plus, we'll explore some unique and interesting strategies that Commander players can employ to stand out of the table.
And we can't forget to touch on recent releases or any new cards coming out. In Commander, the format is always changing, evolving, and there's always new cards strictly for Commander. It seems like Wizard of the Coast is printing out, but yeah, we'll touch base on those.
Exactly. So we're not even going to talk about cards this time, right? Just keep it short.
Yeah.
And with that, we've come to the end of the episode of the Magic and Chill podcast.
We hope you enjoyed our discussion of Commander deck building, the community, and just like little stories and notable cards and strategies.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Don't forget to follow us on social media, visit our website, and support the show. You can find me at most social media platforms under Magic and Chill.
And you can find me at sorcerers_stash, usually on TikTok and Instagram and stuff like that. So you can find me there. Stay tuned for our next episode. And you can catch us talking about some crazy Commander stuff.
Yeah. Until then, keep shuffling those decks and may your commanders lead you to victory. We need a new catchphrase.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. But right now,
I think
it sounds funny.
I mean, I think that's fine, right? I think I'm good with it.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
This is
And that wraps up another enchanting episode of Magic and Chill. We hope you've had as much fun as we have exploring the fascinating world of Magic, the Gathering. Don't forget, fellow Planeswalkers, you can stay connected with us by following our social media accounts on TikTok, Threads, Instagram, and YouTube. All the links can be found in the description of this podcast. And for even more magic, consider joining our vibrant Discord channel, where you can chat with fellow listeners, share deck ideas, and dive deeper into the world of Magic. Before we go, we have a humble request for you, our amazing listeners. If you enjoyed today's episode, it would mean the world to us if you shared Magic and Chill with your friends, family, and your playgroup. Your support helps us continue to bring you the content you love. Until next time, keep shuffling those decks. May your draws be ever in your favor, and always remember to keep it salty.